Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome back to the show. We've got a great guest for you today. We've got Leasha West, and she's a highly decorated Marine Corps veteran, respected community leader, and prominent philanthropist. With the explosive success of her firm, West Insurance and Financial Group, she is now recognized as one of the nation's leading experts in retirement planning and insurance. As a 10th-generation Marine, West continues to serve as a tireless volunteer and sits on the board of directors for numerous nonprofit organizations, as well as the National Board for the Women Marine Association. As a result of Leasha's outstanding volunteerism, she was awarded the President's Volunteer Service Award by President Barack Obama. In addition to her community involvement, West is an award-winning and multiple best-selling author. She was selected as America's Premier Experts and a multi-year member of the $1 Million Roundtable, was named to the by the Circle of Excellence by the Women in Insurance and Financial Services, and was chosen as one of North America's elite women in insurance by Insurance Business America magazine. Leasha, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tracy.
Awesome. We appreciate you spending some time with us and sharing some awesome nuggets with our audience. So let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit more about your business and what types of customers that you're helping.
Sure. Well, my company is, like you said, West Insurance and Financial Group. Most of my clients are business owners, medical and legal professionals, and retirees. And what we do is help everyone understand their insurance, manage their risk. We also have a debt elimination program. And so mainly what we do is we're going to take care of all the insurance needs from top to bottom and knock out any debt.
Great. That's a great, an awesome niche that you're servicing. So tell us a little bit, what led you to this field and how you got started in it?
Well, Tracy, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went right into financial services, and I was working at a national brokerage house. And while I was working at the brokerage house, a lot of my clients were retirees and senior citizens, and they started asking me about other topics that really wasn't part of my job description at the time. They were asking about Medicare, Social Security, long-term care insurance, so on and so forth, issues that retirees were facing. So I started kind of researching on the side and learning a lot about these things that retirees deal with, and it was very fascinating to me. And I also noticed that retirees, or those that are nearing retirement, really didn't have any centralized place to go for advice and to put all these different topics together, because they really all have a lot of congruence with each other. And so I thought, if I really want to give this kind of personalized service, I'm going to have to start my own shop. And that's what I decided to do. I wanted to give really one-on-one service and offer various services so that I can meet everybody's needs, because everybody needs something different. So that's kind of how I got started in my own business.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us. Along the way, I love asking this question to the entrepreneurs that I interview, but along the way, was there a book or a person that motivated you or inspired you?
Well, I'm pretty motivated already, but I can tell you there's a few people. I would say, first of all, my parents really motivated me. And I have to tell you, my Marine Corps drill instructors absolutely just motivated me beyond belief. So I have to hand it to a lot of those folks. So wherever my drill instructors are, I mean, God bless them. They just have a way of getting people motivated.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. So, Leasha, I've seen you speak, and I've been around you a little bit, and I see the passion that you have. But what is it that gives you that passion every morning to get up out of bed to do what you do?
Tracy, I got to tell you, people need help. And when I'm going in and looking at different people's policies, I'm looking at their financial situation, I see so many mistakes. So many people don't understand what's going on, which, by the way, that's no accident that the insurance industry doesn't want the general public to understand insurance. Like, that's not an accident. And I just keep thinking, I just want to help as many people as humanly possible, because at the end of the day, I'm giving people peace of mind. So I guess it's just very natural for me to want to help as many people as I can, because I do understand this stuff, backwards, forwards, and upside down. So I just try to get out and help as many people as I can and scatter sunshine everywhere I go.
So you say it's no accident. Can you go in a little bit deeper than that? I mean, people rely on insurance to, cover things as far as loss and things like that. But
you bet.
Along the way, what kind of common obstacles are you seeing preventing from people, to secure their futures? What kind of obstacles are you seeing?
Well, there's actually quite a few, but some of the ones that come immediate to mind, I see a lot of seniors that are not properly set up on Medicare and Medicare supplements. They don't understand how their Medicare supplement insurance works with Medicare. I've seen a lot of retirees almost go bankrupt over medical bills because they weren't properly set up. Another one, now that's with retirees and Medicare, because just understand, pretty much everything is insurance-based. If you really think about it, everything is insurance-based. Another example would be, let's say, homeowners insurance policies. I guarantee you, the majority of people listening to this right now do not have backup drain and sewer on their homeowners insurance. This is a huge mistake, even though it seems very minor. If something happens, it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars to come in and clean your house up. I mean, it's these small little mistakes that I see, life insurance policies. Sometimes the beneficiary isn't up to date. How about sometimes it's a term policy that maybe expired years ago, and the owner of the policy still thinks that coverage is in force. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's when you have a claim. Then you realize, holy cannoli, this coverage wasn't in place, or we didn't have backup drain and sewer, or the Medicare supplement wasn't set up properly. So it's just very important to have this set up properly, but to also understand what your coverage is, what you need, what you don't need, what you have, and what you don't have. And folks just don't understand that.
Well, I can clearly see that you're absolutely an advocate for the consumer, and some of the biggest pitfalls that they might not be aware of, you mentioned one of them. Could you go over a couple more of those?
Absolutely. I would say some of the pitfalls where you're not really working with the right agent, or you might be working with an inexperienced agent. That's probably pitfall number one, because the licensed professional is the one that's supposed to have all the knowledge, and is really responsible for educating their client. Or so that's just my shameless opinion. I would say most people really don't understand. Maybe they don't take the time to understand, and they don't really read their policy. It just gets mailed to them, and then they file it away rather than sit down and read it, or ask your agent to go over it with you rather than mail it to you, either hand deliver it, but take the time to go over it and understand and ask questions. And I see those are probably the two biggest pitfalls. They're not reading their policies, and they're not working with the right agent.
Has there been any recent changes in law that affect the consumer as far as insurance that you're aware of?
Well, the laws are changing all the time. And so, probably the most recent one would be Social Security. They just wiped out a lot of different filing strategies for retirees to maximize their Social Security. And most recently, as of April 30th, those strategies expired. And so, going forward, the whole Social Security game has changed. I wrote a chapter on that called Supersize Your Social Security, and everything that I was talking about is now obsolete because the law changed. So yes, the legislation is constantly changing, and that's part of my job, is to stay on top of things so that I can give my clients the most up-to-date information and give them the best service possible so that they're in the best position that they can be in.
So you say different channels or different ways of maximizing your Social Security has changed. As far as age, you usually if you wait longer, you get more. Has that changed or something?
No, it has not. That did not change. No.
Something else significant changed. Could you share with something about that?
Sure. The first one is the restricted application. That concept went away. So that was the first one. Long story short, the restricted application is when one spouse would file and you would restrict that application, meaning you're not going to receive the benefits, but you filed, and then your spouse or a divorced spouse would be able to draw off of your Social Security, but you have to file first in order for them to do that. And the other strategy that was dissolved was called file and suspend, and that was the same thing. It's kind of coordinating spousal benefits. So one person would file and then suspend the application. Like I said, I wrote a whole chapter on this, and then that would allow other dependents to be able to get Social Security off that person's earnings. So again, the restrictive application and the file and suspend, those strategies are no longer effective.
Ah, interesting. Could you describe how you've actually helped someone with some challenges that they may have or some questions about their retirement? Could you talk about how you've actually helped somebody overcome those challenges?
Sure, absolutely. I would say most wives, widows, or divorcees really don't understand a lot of the finances and insurance and things like that. I find a lot of the husbands or a lot of the men handle that. So when I'm working with women, it's a much different conversation because we're starting from a different place. So I've helped a lot of women, older women, if you will, understand different coverage options, like I said, what they have, what they don't have, what they need and what they don't need, and also help get their finances in order. I mean, obviously I've helped thousands of people. I would say women specifically don't really have a handle on things like I feel like they should. Sometimes couples don't do finances and insurance together, like one person handles that, and I wouldn't recommend that. I've helped, I would say, more women than anything understand things and get their affairs in order.
That was a good response. Thank you. What would you say would be the best piece of advice that you would give the listener who's considering or who's transitioning into Social Security or Medicaid or Medicare? What would be your best piece of advice?
Start now. I don't care how old you are. If you're transitioning, first of all, you have to work with a retirement specialist, someone who handles retirement issues. So whoever you've been working with through your accumulation years, that person 9 times out of 10 is not qualified or eligible or trained to help you with retirement issues. Your financial advisor is not going to be able to tell you about Medicare and Social Security and long-term care because they're handling your investment. Do you see? So first of all, work with someone who specializes in areas of retirement. So that was my first piece of advice. You definitely need to work with the right person who you know is qualified and eligible. And get started, get all your affairs in order, understand what you have, and whoever you're working with will be able to help you meet your goals as to what you need. Don't rely on the folks working at the Social Security offices because they're not normally there to do a customized plan for you. They're not wealth protectors or anything like that. They're simply order takers. They're there to process claims, things like that. So you're not going to get the advice that you need from the Social Security offices. So you need to work with a national Social Security advisor that's going to help you find the best strategy for your family as far as what you're going to do for the Social Security. And the same thing with Medicare. Whoever your retirement specialist is, they should be able to answer all your questions and put you in the right Medicare policy that's appropriate for you and your budget and your health. So that was the first thing. The key is always working with the right person that's going to sit down, answer your questions. Until all of your questions are answered, that's the person you need to be working with.
what are some of the things that people can look for to make sure that they're talking to the right person?
I would definitely look for someone who has had, first of all, at least 10 years of experience in the industry. Okay, you need to have a very, very experienced person that has gone through a lot of changes, a lot of trends, and has worked with a lot of people and seen a lot of different cases and will have a good handle on what you're doing. You don't want to deal with anybody, entry level, cutting their teeth, or nobody, up and coming. So first of all, I would work with someone that has 10 years or more experience. Secondly, I would go to the American College and find some professionals that are in your area. I have a master's degree in financial services or designations, chartered financial consultant, chartered advisor for senior living. These individuals are going to be well-trained, experienced, and have continued and kept up with the education in the industry, and they're going to be better suited to advise you appropriately, depending on where you live and what your situation is. Again, the National Social Security Advisor is where you would want to go to have your customized Social Security advice and people that are going to work with you. So I would definitely, those would be my two starting points, someone with 10 years experience or more, and certainly someone that has a lot of designations that have kept up with the industry.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that with us. So if the listener's ready to find out more about some information about what you do, what's the first thing that they can do to do that?
Well, the first thing is to go to my website, which is westfinancialgroup.com. There's going to be a lot of information on there. If you really need to talk to me, or you're ready to go, or you've got a burning question, feel free to call me. My number is 888-532-7429. Please mention that you did hear me on the Business Innovators podcast, and we'll make sure we put you on the fast track, and I will personally get right back to anyone that calls in that mentions this podcast specifically.
Awesome. I understand you've got some great things on the horizon. You've got some speaking events coming up soon?
I do. I'm speaking at United Nations in New York City in June, which I'm very excited about. And then I speak in October at West Point at the West Point Leadership Academy. So lots of things going on.
Awesome. And any new books on the horizon?
I do. The next one coming out is What to Do When You Turn 62, which was just what we were talking about. Social Security, what to do, how to get yourself set up. So thank you for asking. That will be out on July 1st.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. You've had a lot of great information. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Well, there you have it for this edition of the show. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.